Four Horsemen Studios just revealed their second wave of Cosmic Legions called Hvalkatar Book 2 Gravenight. I'm here to break it down, share my favorites, and generally react to this really cool, smaller new wave. DorkLair! Okay, here we go. As I'm going through these, please share your favorites in the comments. I'm dying to hear which ones are kind of like the top picks, which ones people really like. I'll share my favorites as we're going along with them and maybe kind of give my top three in the end. But it's a small wave, and they kind of described it as if they had so many good ideas for the first wave that they had to like dial it back. Like the first wave, I think is like 10, 11 figures, and they kind of said, hey, we can't drop all of these. We can't drop 15 figures in a wave. And so they held some back, and thematically, it's really in the same storyline. It's like this fight arena thing in a prison planet, and this is sort of like chapter 2, or this is book 2 of that kind of thing there. And so it's a pretty small wave, which I think is good. A lot of people are pretty fatigued right now by action figures and waves of figures coming out. And now that there's two lines of Legions, you have Cosmic and Mythic, I think a lot of people are collecting both, and it's going to be tough to keep up with this stuff. So yeah, I think it's a pretty welcome wave being smaller. It's only 5 figures and a weapons pack, so not too overbearing. And the value is incredible, in my opinion. I feel like every year they keep adding more and more value to their $37 price range figures. So, all right, let's start into this. So I'm gonna structure this video by price. We'll start with the lowest price items and work our way up to the higher priced items, and then we'll talk about the one all-in option. First up, we have the weapons pack. This is a $20 item. It comes with a shield. It comes with a few different weapons and accessories and things. You got a energy style dome mask, and the thing that a lot of people were kind of like excited about is the mace head. So we'll see what compatibility that has. It does come with the larger figure in the wave, so it's going to be pretty big. I don't think it's just going to like pop onto your regular 1.0 Mythic Legions weapons, but we'll see. They kind of said they didn't know the compatibility, and that maybe that mace head could be compatible with the ogre scale weapons. We'll see. Next up, we have 3 standard figures. So these are your standard $37 figures. The price point that used to be $35 is now $37. Not a terrible increase, but that increase has been in place for a few months now. First up, we have Novian Lean. Novian Lean is from the Bleeders Guild. They revealed a couple new affiliations, and the Bleeders Guild is one of those. And there's some great storytelling and character bios that I'm not going to get into in this video right now. And they're going to be publishing features on the Source Horseman site for a lot of these characters too, so you'll be able to dig into the lore a little bit more at a later date. This guy has massive Predator vibes. He's got definitely a reptilian, snake-like head sculpt. And then he uses some of the Mythic Legion's sculpted cloth parts, like the thighs and the upper arms. And then I'm sure some of the other bits and pieces are from some of the other Cosmic figures. But yeah, a lot of new stuff going on here. And I mean, it's got 2 head sculpts. So yeah, this is great. There's just a lot of value in these figures. We're looking at, I think, 4 sets of hands, 2 heads, 3 guns, shoulder pauldrons, and a figure. For $37, like they keep adding more and more value. The fact that these come with extra hands now is so sick. I heard a lot of people talking up Novian Lean as their favorite from the wave. That head sculpt is pretty awesome. And then we have Umbira. That's not an easy one to pronounce, but this is basically Scorpion Lady. And the really not innovative, but the kind of new thing to the line here is we're getting translucent body parts. What we're looking at here is a 2.0 style female body figure, similar to Zirian, and this head sculpt is just wild, just so cool. And I love the color scheme on here, the orange and green, very cool. And again, a second portrait on this one. This one has a swappable faceplate rather than a full swappable head, and a bunch of weapons, extra hands, and so on. $37 for Umbira. And the third and final of the standard $37 figures is Isopedian. And this is like your classic gray alien looking guy. Pretty much a whole brand new body, like top to bottom. Everything I think is new on this dude, but it's based on the format of a 2.0 body. This is probably going to have parts that are compatible with 2.0 figures. So these kind of new muscular upper arms will probably be usable on like elves and stuff like that. Maybe even create some sleeveless vampires or something. But yeah, everything is all brand new, which is kind of amazing that they were able to do it at $37. And this figure is really tall. Like this figure, I think is like 8 inches tall. It's pretty tall. It's a very long, skinny figure. This one is definitely one of my favorites. I mean, classic alien right there. So cool. And it does have a little bit of the Sea Jessam touch with that cloth skirt that has opposing wire within it. Next up is Kanox Vol. He is a cyborg alien, and he is in the brute scale. So this is the first figure in that larger 8-inch brute scale. Like the two figures from the Poxus wave, you had the Jinn and the larger orc. Those are in the brute scale, bigger body. They share that upper torso with the centaur. So this guy is definitely a unique piece within Cosmic Legions. Kanox Vol, brute scale, $47. So we're moving up into the price range here a little bit. But again, this is a much bigger figure, and it's got some cool stuff. It's got the swap out head with the angry teeth-bearing face. Looks like it's got 2 sets of hands, and just so many insane details throughout this figure. Really awesome piece. And I do have to shout out Trevor Williams, 1/6 shooter, for the awesome photos. Not only does he do the product photos, but for each figure there's like a toy photography kind of photo with a dio and stuff. So check that out. The Crashbox dio with Trevor's photography. Phenomenal stuff. That cybernetic foot or lower leg and all these tubes and things. And those tubes are removable and swappable, and there's all sorts of little ports and bits and pieces that you can change around. So very cool. Kanox Vol, definitely my favorite from the wave. And finally, we have a deluxe builder set. These are kind of like those orc sets that are coming out with the War of the Aetherblade wave. They described it as like comparing it to the original Barbarian builder. And this Tusk Grave Keeper will do for Cosmic Legions what that Barbarian did for Mythic Legions. So very cool. I mean, this is just a loaded set. It's $60, and people are going to probably balk at that price. But you have to really understand, like, just go look at a Barbarian and just see what people talk about in terms of that Barbarian and come back to this and then make that connection. And you'll see that the value is insane on this. It comes with so many pieces. I mean, this thing comes with, I think, 3 or 4 heads, at least 3 heads, and then different options for domes, a plethora of weapons. It's got 2, 4, 6, 8 hands, just a fully loaded figure. This thing is nuts. And although this is blue and the Tusk Sentry is white, you'll definitely be able to like swap between them because the Tusk Sentry does have some blue accents. So I think that the part swapping is going to be ridiculous between the Gravekeeper and the Sentry. It's going to mix and match really well. So all those extra parts will be useful if you did buy some extra Tusk Sentries for the $25. So if you add all of those up, I believe it comes to $238. Or you can buy the all-in for $200. So essentially, it's the price of a figure that they're kind of knocking off in order to give you a deal on the all-in. I ended up buying 2 all-ins myself. I may dip back in for more later in the month so that I can kind of budget throughout the month. But yeah, I did 2 all-ins myself. You get all 5 figures and the weapons pack, and for all of these items, this sale runs until May 1st. So this is pretty much exactly 1 month window. That's not going to sell out in that month. You'll be able to get it at the end of the month. The retailers will have it. The $37 figures will be $50. The $45 figure or $47 figure will probably be like $60. And all of those retail prices will be in place once this pre-sale. Getting it direct, you get that discount for going direct from them. You do have to pay up front, however. So that's the trade-off. Otherwise, you can get the standard retail price, and there are plenty of retailers who will do, no money up front, easy cancellation type situations, and you can go with those options if you don't want to pay ahead of time. So now I'll just kind of recap my favorites and why. And I guess my number 3 is probably the Tusk Gravekeeper. And that's mostly because it's just going to be a killer set for my favorite aspect of Legions, which is swapping and kit bashing and army building and so on. And then my second favorite is Isopedian. I love it when they bring in new things and new sizes and scales and like just different shapes and stuff. And this is absolutely a brand new shape. Like this is a classic alien. This elongated 2.0 style figure. And finally, the brute scale. It's going to be so much fun. I actually think this is going to be something where you could probably take the brute scale Poxus figures and do some swapping with this. So we're finally getting into like brute scale swapping as well. But this guy is just nuts. He's going to have such a presence on the shelf. He kind of reminds me of like almost a cross between like Centurions and like Zentradi or something like that, like the Zentradi leader from Robotech. But a lot of cool influences going on with these and just like adding a new level of craziness. And some of these look like mythic legions, like the Scorpion lady, like she could straight up be mixed right in with legions, I think, personally. And then Novian's head, you know, swap that onto a legions figure. That would look pretty cool. Definitely some really good cross-line mixing possibilities with this wave. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and until next time, may the force be with you.